Imagine walking into a courtroom expecting fairness, but instead you're met with prejudice and harsh judgment just because of the color of your skin. Now imagine that same man fighting back, not with anger, but with the law itself, revealing that the very judge punishing him was about to face justice from an unexpected source. A federal prosecutor who once stood in that courtroom, underestimated and dismissed. This is a true story of courage, justice, and the power of speaking up against racism when the odds seem impossible. In a quiet suburban town, there was a high school that looked much like any other. It had wide hallways, big classrooms with windows that let in the sunshine, and a gym where students played sports after school. The school was always full of life during the day, with students rushing from class to class, teachers preparing lessons, and staff working to keep everything clean and running smoothly. Among the many people who worked at the school was a man named Mr. Carter. He was the janitor. Mr. Carter was a tall, calm man in his early 50s. He had a gentle face, with small wrinkles near his eyes, that told stories of years lived quietly and patiently. His hands were strong from years of hard work, and he carried an old toolbox with him wherever he went. His job was to clean the school, fix broken things, and make sure the building was ready for students every morning. Most people didn't pay much attention to him. To the students, he was just the janitor, a background figure they saw when they passed by the halls or after school. Even some teachers didn't know his name or speak to him much. He was just part of the school's routine, a quiet presence that kept things running but stayed in the shadows. One ordinary day, something unusual happened that would change everything. About how people saw Mr. Carter. It started in an AP calculus class. Calculus was one of the hardest subjects at the school. It involved difficult problems with limits, derivatives, and integrals. The students in the class were smart, but also a little restless. The teacher, Mr. Green, was trying to keep their attention on a tricky problem written on the whiteboard. But the students were talking, joking, and some were even texting on their phones. Mr. Green was frustrated. He needed a way to get the students' focus back. Suddenly, he looked out the classroom window and saw Mr. Carter mopping the hallway, outside. An idea came to Mr. Green, a way to surprise the students and maybe get them quiet. He called out loud enough for the whole class to hear, "Hey, Mr. Carter, come here for a moment. Can you solve this calculus problem for us?" The students laughed. They expected Mr. Carter to look confused and maybe shake his head. They thought it was a joke. After all, Mr. Carter was the janitor. How could he solve a complicated math problem? Most students thought janitors only cleaned floors and fixed light bulbs, not solved calculus questions. Mr. Carter heard the call. He stopped mopping and looked at the classroom window. There was a pause. Some students giggled. Mr. Green smiled, expecting a funny moment when Mr. Carter would say, "I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that." But instead, something surprising happened. Slowly, without rushing, Mr. Carter put down his mop and walked towards the classroom door. The students went quiet, watching him come inside. He did not look confused or scared. He seemed calm and confident. He stood in front of the whiteboard and picked up a piece of chalk. At that moment, the room became silent. The students and the teacher all waited to see what Mr. Carter would do. Would he just scribble something meaningless? Would he say he didn't know? But Mr. Carter began writing carefully on the board. Step by step, he started solving the problem. He explained what he was doing using the right math words. He talked about limits, how to approach the problem, and what the answer meant. The students were shocked. His solution was not only correct but also very clear. It was like watching a math teacher at work. Some students whispered to each other, "How does he know this?" Mr. Green, the teacher, stopped smiling. He looked surprised, almost uncomfortable. The joke he thought was funny had turned into something serious and unexpected. After solving the problem, Mr. Carter turned to the class and said politely, "Would you like me to try another one?" The students just stared, amazed. Then, without waiting for an answer, Mr. Carter smiled softly and walked out of the room, leaving the chalk in the board's tray. He picked up his mop and went back to the hallway, as if nothing special had happened. The students remained quiet for a few moments. Then, a boy named Jordan pulled out his small camcorder and started recording everything he had seen. He wanted to remember this moment because it was unbelievable. The video quickly spread among the students like wildfire. Everyone was talking about the janitor who could solve calculus problems better than the teacher. That day, the quiet routine of the school was broken. People began to ask, "Who is Mr. Carter? Where did he learn math like that?" The staff room buzzed with whispers. Teachers wondered if they had judged him unfairly. The students looked at him with new eyes, no longer just a janitor, but someone with a hidden talent and a story they wanted to know. For Mr. Carter, nothing had changed. He just wanted to do his job and live quietly. But that day, a simple joke, meant to entertain a restless class, had opened a door to a story no one expected, one that would soon inspire an entire school and beyond. After that unforgettable day when Mr. Carter walked into the calculus classroom and solved the problem on the board, the whole school was buzzing with excitement and surprise. The students couldn't stop talking about what they had just witnessed. It wasn't every day that the quiet janitor, the man they barely noticed before, suddenly became the smartest person in the room. His calm confidence and deep understanding of calculus left everyone wondering, how did he know so much? That afternoon, as the last bell rang, the hallways were filled with students still discussing the event. Some students who didn't even take calculus had heard the story by then, and they wanted to know more about Mr. Carter. The rumor spread quickly. The janitor was actually a math genius, but no one really knew anything about him beyond the fact that he cleaned the school. Meanwhile, the math teacher, Mr. Green, found himself in a strange position. He had always been confident in his role as a teacher, proud of his knowledge and the respect he received from students and staff. But that day he felt a bit embarrassed. His joke had backfired. What was meant to be a funny moment had suddenly put him in the shadows of someone he had ignored. Mr. Green wondered if he should say something or act differently, but he wasn't sure how. His pride stopped him from asking Mr. Carter directly about his knowledge. Instead, he tried to pretend nothing had happened, hoping the moment would be forgotten. But it was impossible. The students kept bringing it up, asking the teacher questions like, "Can Mr. Carter come teach us more?" Or, "Why doesn't he work in the math department?" Outside of the classroom, the school staff room was full of whispers and curious glances. Some teachers admitted they hadn't taken the time to get to know Mr. Carter beyond his janitorial duties. Others started wondering about the stories behind his quiet smile and the years he had spent working at the school. One student, Aisha, who wrote for the school newspaper, found the whole situation fascinating. She was a bright and curious girl who loved to learn new things. Aisha decided to write a story about Mr. Carter for the next issue of the school paper. She wanted to find out who he really was and what his story might be. She approached him one afternoon after school, nervously at first, but soon found him to be kind and willing to talk. Mr. Carter was careful with his words. He didn't want to boast or make his life sound better than it was. He told Aisha that he loved math, yes, but life had taken him on a different path. Years ago, he had been a brilliant student, one who dreamed of becoming a mathematician or a teacher. He had worked hard and earned a scholarship to a very good university. But life wasn't always fair or kind. Mr. Carter explained how, during his first year at college, his family faced a terrible emergency. His younger siblings needed him, and there was no one else to take care of them. He had to leave college to support his family. From then on, he took on many jobs, including working as a janitor at the very school where he had never thought he would end up. Despite the challenges, Mr. Carter never gave up on his love for learning. He told Aisha how he spent many evenings after work in the public library, studying old math books and solving problems for himself. He didn't have a teacher anymore, but the books were his guides. He liked to challenge his mind and keep his skills sharp, even if no one knew about it. Aisha was amazed by his story. Here was a man who could have been a great professor or scientist, but who had sacrificed his dreams for his family. She realized that Mr. Carter's true genius had been hidden for many years because of circumstances beyond his control, and yet he had never stopped learning or sharing his knowledge in small, quiet ways. The article Aisha wrote about Mr. Carter became a hit. It was full of respect and admiration, and it showed a side of the janitor that most people never saw. Students and teachers alike read it and started to see Mr. Carter in a new light. People began to treat him differently, with more kindness and appreciation. The students who had seen the video of Mr. Carter solving the calculus problem started to ask him questions whenever they saw him in the hallways. Some asked for help with homework. Others just wanted to say hello and thank him for inspiring them. Mr. Carter, who had always been humble and quiet, was surprised by the attention, but accepted it with grace. One day, Mr. Green, the math teacher, finally decided to speak with Mr. Carter. He wanted to apologize for the joke that had made Mr. Carter feel uncomfortable, and to ask if Mr. Carter would be willing to help students who struggled with math. Mr. Carter agreed, but only if it was informal and didn't take away from his regular duties. After school, Mr. Carter started holding small tutoring sessions in the library. At first, only a few students came, but word spread quickly, and soon, many students who found math difficult were showing up. Mr. Carter's way of teaching was different from regular classes. He explained things simply, used everyday examples, and patiently answered every question. Students felt comfortable with him because he didn't judge or rush them. These tutoring sessions became popular. Students who used to avoid math began to enjoy it. They discovered that calculus and other difficult topics could be understood, if explained well. Mr. Carter's lessons gave them confidence and hope. Teachers noticed the change too. The math department asked Mr. Carter to help more regularly. The principal praised him for going beyond his duties to help students learn and grow. Slowly, the school culture started to shift. Respect for every person's ability and background grew stronger. Outside the school, the story of Mr. Carter's talent and kindness began to spread. Parents of students were proud to hear about the janitor who was making a difference. Local newspapers took interest and wanted to tell the story to the wider community. Soon, Mr. Carter became a symbol of hidden potential and quiet strength. Despite the new attention, Mr. Carter remained humble. He said his greatest joy was helping young minds discover their own talents. He believed that education was not just for a few but for everyone. His experience taught him that opportunities might not come easily, but with hard work and a good heart, anyone could shine. Through all this, Mr. Carter never stopped doing his janitorial work. He took pride in keeping the school clean and safe because he believed every job was important. But now, his days were filled with more smiles and conversations. He had become more than a janitor. He was a teacher, a mentor, and an inspiration. This unexpected turn of events showed everyone that people are often more than they seem. The joke that started as a way to get attention had uncovered a hidden story of perseverance, intelligence, and kindness. Mr. Carter's quiet strength taught the whole school a powerful lesson. Never judge someone by their job or appearance. Behind every person is a story waiting to be told. After the news about Mr. Carter's unexpected math skills spread throughout the school, more and more people became curious about who he really was. Students, teachers, and even parents wanted to know about the man behind the janitor's uniform, who had solved a tough calculus problem as easily as if it were a simple puzzle. But no one knew much about him. Mr. Carter was still quiet and humble. He never talked about his past or explained how he had learned so much math. Many wondered, what was his story? One of the students, Aisha, was especially interested. She was a bright, determined girl who worked on the school newspaper. After hearing Mr. Carter's story and seeing the way he helped other students with their math problems, She felt there was something more to discover. She wanted to share his full story with the school, to help others understand and appreciate him even more. Aisha tried to approach Mr. Carter several times. At first he was shy and reserved. He didn't want to talk much about his life. He was used to keeping things private. But Aisha was patient. She showed kindness and respect, and slowly Mr. Carter started to open up. He told her about his life before he became the school janitor. He explained that he had always loved math since he was a young boy. Numbers and problems fascinated him. In school, he was one of the top students. His teachers noticed his talent and encouraged him to study hard. Because of his excellent grades, he earned a full scholarship to a prestigious university in the city. At university, Mr. Carter dreamed of becoming a mathematician or a teacher who could help others understand the beauty of math. He was excited to learn and grow. But life, as it often does, had other plans. During his first year, something happened that changed everything. His family faced a sudden and serious emergency. His parents became ill, and his younger siblings needed someone to take care of them. Mr. Carter couldn't focus on his studies knowing his family was struggling back home. After many sleepless nights, he made a difficult decision. He left the university to support his family. From that moment on, his life became a series of challenges. He worked many jobs to pay the bills and keep his family safe. Some days were hard. He missed the chance to finish his education and follow his dreams. But he never lost his love for learning. Every chance he got, he read books and practiced math problems on his own. Even while working as a janitor at the school, Mr. Carter never stopped thinking about math. The library became his sanctuary. He would spend evenings there, reading old textbooks and solving exercises, teaching himself things that no one else knew about. It was his way of staying connected to a world he almost lost. Aisha listened carefully to every word. She could see the pain in his eyes, but also the strength and pride he carried inside. Here was a man who had given up so much for his family, but had not given up on his own passion. She realized that Mr. Carter's story was not just about math or work. It was about sacrifice, resilience, and hope. When she asked why he never told anyone about his skills before, Mr. Carter smiled softly. He said that he had never wanted special attention. He believed in doing his work well and quietly, without needing praise. But now he was happy that his story could inspire others, especially students who faced their own struggles. After their long talk, Aisha wrote a detailed article about Mr. Carter's life. She included his childhood dreams, the challenges he faced, and his quiet determination to keep learning. The article was honest and heartfelt. It showed a side of Mr. Carter that most people never saw, a man of great intelligence and deep kindness. When the article was published in the school paper, it touched many hearts. Students who had once ignored Mr. Carter now stopped to greet him in the hallways. Teachers asked if he could speak to their classes about his experiences. Parents wrote letters thanking the school for sharing his story. Mr. Carter's life became a lesson in courage and humility. People saw that success isn't always about where you end up, but how you handle the journey. They learned that sometimes the greatest talents are hidden where we least expect them. With this new respect, Mr. Carter started to get involved more at school. He helped teachers by tutoring students and sharing his love of math. He didn't want to be called a genius or hero. To him, he was just a man doing his best to give back and make a difference. But what made Mr. Carter special was not just his knowledge. It was his heart. He treated every student with patience and care, no matter their background or how well they did in school. His tutoring sessions were filled with laughter and encouragement. Students felt safe to ask questions and make mistakes. Over time, more students came to see him not just as the janitor, but as a mentor and friend. His story inspired many who thought they were stuck or forgotten. They learned that no matter what life throws at you, it is possible to keep learning, growing, and helping others. Mr. Carter's story did not end at the school. The local newspaper heard about him and decided to write a feature story. Soon, his quiet courage and intelligence were known throughout the town. People admired the man who had sacrificed so much, but never gave up on his dreams or kindness. Even with the attention, Mr. Carter stayed humble. He continued his daily work at the school, keeping the halls clean and the classrooms ready. But now, there was a new warmth in his smile. He knew that his story had touched many lives and that he was making a difference beyond what he had ever imagined. This part of Mr. Carter's life teaches us about strength, sacrifice, and the power of quiet determination. It shows that everyone has a story worth telling, and sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones who do their best without asking for anything in return. After the story of Mr. Carter had spread throughout the school and the town, something incredible began to happen. The people around him, including students, teachers, and even the school principal, started to realize that Mr. Carter was much more than the janitor they had always known. Slowly but surely their respect for him grew deeper, and their attitudes began to change. This shift brought many positive changes to the school and to Mr. Carter's life. At first, many students still saw him as just the janitor, but after hearing about his intelligence and dedication, they began to look at him with new eyes. No longer did they pass him in the halls without saying hello or smiling. Instead, they greeted him warmly and sometimes even asked for help with their homework. Mr. Carter's tutoring sessions became more popular than anyone had expected. What made these sessions so special wasn't just Mr. Carter's knowledge of math, but his way of teaching. He didn't just give answers. He explained things patiently and clearly, always encouraging students to think for themselves. He used simple language, everyday examples, and made sure everyone understood before moving on. Many students who used to be afraid of math started to enjoy it. They discovered they could solve problems and even appreciate the beauty of numbers. Teachers noticed the changes too. Some began inviting Mr. Carter to their classrooms to help students who struggled. Others started to ask for his advice on how to make math easier to understand. The principal of the school, Mrs. Williams, saw how much Mr. Carter was helping students and decided to support him publicly. She praised him during school assemblies and even mentioned his story in meetings with the school board. This new attention brought some challenges for Mr. Carter. For many years, he had worked quietly, without anyone paying much attention. Now, people wanted to celebrate him, interview him, and sometimes treat him differently. At first, this made Mr. Carter uncomfortable. He wasn't used to being in the spotlight and preferred to stay humble, but he also realized that this was a chance to help even more students and inspire others to never give up. One day, a group of students asked Mr. Carter if he would like to start a math club at school. They wanted a place where students could come together to learn, share ideas, and have fun with math. Mr. Carter loved the idea. He agreed to help organize the club and promised to guide them through interesting problems and projects. The math club quickly became one of the most popular activities in the school. Students of all grades joined, some just curious, others passionate, about numbers. They worked on puzzles, competed in math competitions, and even helped younger students with their homework. Mr. Carter's enthusiasm and kindness made the club a place where everyone felt welcome. The school began to change in more ways than one. The respect for all staff members grew, and students started to appreciate the hard work of janitors, cooks, and other employees who often went unnoticed. Mr. Carter's story reminded everyone that everyone has value and talents, no matter their job or background. Outside the school, Mr. Carter's story caught the attention of local media. Reporters wanted to know more about the man who had amazed a whole school with his skills and kindness. Interviews were arranged, and soon Mr. Carter was featured on local TV and in newspapers. People from nearby towns wrote letters to the school, praising Mr. Carter and asking how they could support similar programs in their schools. The community began to see Mr. Carter as a symbol of hope and determination. His story inspired people to believe in second chances and the power of education. Many local organizations offered to help the school improve its math programs, partly because of the excitement that Mr. Carter had brought. Even though all this recognition was new to him, Mr. Carter remained grounded. He continued to do his janitorial work with pride, never forgetting the importance of every job in the school. But now, he also had a new role as a mentor and leader. He gave talks to students about the importance of hard work, kindness, and never giving up on dreams. One of the most touching moments came during the school's annual awards ceremony. The principal announced a special award created just for Mr. Carter, honoring his contributions to the school community. When Mr. Carter received the award, the entire auditorium gave him a standing ovation. Students cheered, teachers clapped, and even the quietest corners of the school felt the warmth of appreciation. That night, as Mr. Carter walked home, he thought about how much his life had changed in just a few months. From being an unnoticed janitor, he had become a beloved figure who inspired many. But he didn't let the praise go to his head. He knew that his journey was not about fame or recognition, but about helping others and living with honesty and a kindness. His story also brought attention to important issues like equality and respect. People started conversations about how schools and communities could do better to appreciate every individual's talents and contributions. Mr. Carter's experience showed that sometimes the best teachers and leaders come from the most unexpected places. Over time, the school continued to grow stronger and more united. The culture of respect and encouragement became part of everyday life. Students learned valuable lessons not only from books, but from the example set by Mr. Carter. One day, a student who had once struggled with math came up to Mr. Carter and said, "Thank you for believing in me. You helped me believe in myself." Those words touched Mr. Carter deeply. They reminded him why he had kept learning and teaching all those years. His efforts were making a real difference. Mr. Carter's story didn't just change one school, it became a source of hope for many people. It taught the world that everyone deserves a chance to shine, no matter where they start in life. His journey was proof that kindness, hard work, and belief in others can create miracles. Through all the changes, Mr. Carter stayed true to himself. He showed that greatness isn't about titles or status, but about the impact we have on others. His quiet strength and generous heart left a lasting legacy that would inspire generations to come. The story of Mr. Carter, the janitor who shocked everyone by solving a difficult calculus problem, reached far beyond the school's walls. As time passed, his life and actions continued to inspire not only his students, but the whole community. The respect and admiration people had for him grew deeper, and his journey became a symbol of hope, resilience, and the power of kindness. But the most important changes were yet to come, both for Mr. Carter and the school. After becoming a beloved figure in the school, Mr. Carter never stopped working hard. He continued his janitorial duties, always making sure the school was clean and safe. But now, he had something more meaningful to give: the gift of knowledge, encouragement, and inspiration. His tutoring sessions became a regular part of school life, and many students who once struggled with math started to believe in themselves. One day the principal called Mr. Carter to her office. She told him that because of his incredible contributions, the school board wanted to offer him a new position, not just as a janitor, but as an official math tutor and mentor. This was a big step. For years, Mr. Carter had worked behind the scenes, helping students quietly. Now, he was being recognized in a formal way for his talents and dedication. At first, Mr. Carter was surprised and a little unsure. He had never thought of himself as anything other than the janitor, but the support from the principal and the teachers gave him confidence. He accepted the new role, excited to help even more students succeed. With this new position, Mr. Carter's impact on the school grew stronger. He worked closely with the math department to develop tutoring programs and study groups. His experience and creative teaching methods helped many students improve their grades and gain confidence. But what made his work special was his genuine care for every student. He believed that everyone could learn if they had the right support. Parents noticed the difference too. Many came to thank Mr. Carter personally, sharing stories of how their children had improved and grown because of his help. Some students who had once been afraid of math even started dreaming about careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, all thanks to the encouragement they received. Outside the school, Mr. Carter's story continued to spread. Local media featured him in newspapers, on TV, and on the radio. People admired his humility and dedication. His story became a reminder that talent and intelligence are not limited by job titles, skin color, or background. Inspired by the positive changes in the school, the local government decided to support programs that help students from all backgrounds succeed. They provided funding for tutoring, scholarships, and after-school activities, hoping to create opportunities for every child. Mr. Carter was invited to speak at events about education, perseverance, and community support. Despite all the attention and honors, Mr. Carter remained humble and focused on what mattered most: helping students. He often said that the greatest reward was seeing a student's face light up when they finally understood a difficult concept or solved a challenging problem. As the years went by, many students who had been helped by Mr. Carter returned to visit him. They shared their successes and thanked him for believing in them. Some became teachers, engineers, or scientists, inspired by his example. Mr. Carter's influence had created a ripple effect, changing lives far beyond the school. The school itself changed too. The culture of respect, kindness, and support that Mr. Carter helped build became a permanent part of the community. Students learned to value every person and their unique talents. Teachers worked together to create a welcoming environment where everyone could thrive. One memorable moment came when the school decided to name a new scholarship after Mr. Carter. The scholarship was for students who showed determination and a love for learning, just like him. It was a way to honor his legacy and encourage others to follow their dreams, no matter what challenges they faced. Mr. Carter's story also inspired a book written by Aisha, the student journalist who first shared his story. The book became popular and was used in schools to teach lessons about courage, humility, and the power of education. Through this book, Mr. Carter's message reached even more people. Looking back, Mr. Carter often thought about how his life had changed. From a quiet janitor to a beloved mentor and role model, his journey was full of unexpected twists and turns. But through it all, he never lost his kindness, his love for learning, or his belief in the goodness of people. His story teaches an important lesson. No matter where you start in life, with hard work, courage, and kindness, you can make a difference. It reminds us not to judge others by their job or appearance, because everyone has hidden talents and stories waiting to be discovered. In the end, Mr. Carter's greatest achievement was not just solving a calculus problem or tutoring students. It was showing the world that true greatness comes from the heart. His life was a shining example of hope, perseverance, and the power of believing in yourself and others.